2020, for the most part, was not a very good year. In fact, I would go so far as to say that it was a very bad year. But there was one part that, at least in my opinion, was good, and that was gaming. Now, while I could just do a complete look back at each month of all the game, blah 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 blah, I thought it would be fun if I stick with this top 5, top 3. I'm going to do top 3 for this video. You read the title, so you probably know. But I'm going to stick with this. This one's going to be a little bit more serious. Last one was just a joke, obviously. This one's going to be a little bit more serious. I'm give a little bit better opinions. But, I'm just going to go ahead and just preface some of the rules real quick. So, even though this is my top 3 games of 2020, it doesn't mean they were all. These are just the top 3 games I played in 2020. So there could be a game from 2007 that was made by 2K. That's not a sports game. That is in this, but you never know. I will start this off with an honorable mention, like I'm some top 5 zombie YouTuber. So my first honorable mention is going to be Last of Us. Now I know I should have played Last of Us already, and I pretty much beat it like 2 times, so I was like an hour or 2 off from beating the game, so I didn't fully beat it. This year I kind of just forced myself to play the game because Last of Us 2 was coming out, and I didn't want to not know what the fuck was going on, so I was like, I'll force myself to play it, and it was a good game. I liked the end. It was kind of hard because I kind of wish, I know they couldn't do it like this, but I kind of wish you had the choice of killing that doctor guy or not killing him. But obviously the entire Last of Us 2 is based off that event, so you can't really not have that happen. But then after I played that, I also played the DLC, the standalone DLC, story DLC, where it's like Ellie and I think the other girl name was Riley. That one was pretty cool too. Explains how she got bit and all that, which is cool. And yeah, that was a really good one. It all made me fucking really sad. But speaking of Last of Us, let's go to number 3. We got Last of Us Part 2. It had to make my list. It won Game of the Year, but it didn't win my Game of the Year. Now, I know this game has caused a lot of controversies, with one side believing the game is terrible, other pretty much making the game to be their religion. And also, I'm just gonna do a little cut in here. I like Nakey Jakey, okay? He's like one of my favorite YouTubers, and he has possibly made a video pretty much just talking about the downfalls of Last of Us Part 2. And I felt like some of these ideas were semi-original, or like a better way to explain it, but I think most of the ideas that I'm about to talk about were talked about by him. But I'm going to say them anyways, because I want to. Now, the game is not as bad or as good as either side would make it out to be. However, I still believe that there is more good than bad in the game. I, in fact, really enjoyed it. It made me super sad for like 2 weeks. But I don't really have much more to add other than that. I want to talk about some downfalls like everyone else did, because I don't really know. I liked the story, but there's not much to talk about in the story, I feel like. Now, one downfall I found was Seattle Day 1 was really boring. Like, I wanted to find everything that was in it, but it just wasn't good. It was too long. In fact, I went as far to say it was a bad mix of GTA and Uncharted. I think that's a great analogy, or a great mix. That's a great way to explain it. It's like GTA, but Uncharted style GTA, and that doesn't work very well. The next problem is plot structure, which I thought this is the part that I thought was original, guys. But I've been told by some sources that apparently Nakey Jakey said it in his video, and even though I've watched that video like 10 times, I don't remember it. So I guess I have a terrible memory. But plot structure. You see, so for most plots, you start with the exposition, which is just a fancy word for a beginning. You then work your way up this mountain where, you're this guy climbing this mountain, okay? And you get to your conflict, which is, in this game, that Joel is dead and you are mad and you want revenge. Then you get to the rising action. You got a little bit higher up this mountain. Which, you get that, you went to Seattle. You're there for multiple days, you're looking for Abby and all that. You find some of her friends, killed some of them. You find out that, is it Nina? That one girl's pregnant, which is your girlfriend. Some crazy stuff. And it all rises to when, Jesse and Joel's brother, who I forgot the name of, get there. And, Jesse gets shot. And this is lots of spoilers. I probably should put a spoiler on it. But then after all that, you got up to the top of this mountain. You're nearly at the top. A giant fucking boulder pushes you down. You're at the bottom again, and you're playing as Abby. That is just not good plot structure. It's not a good idea, because then you have to work your way all the way back up. And by that time, you were already tired to begin with. You just climbed this entire fucking mountain, okay? And now you're gonna tell me that I have to start over all over again? That's not gonna work. Now, here's what I think would have been a magnificent idea if they wanted to have these two separate stories. You get the choice at the beginning of the game where you either get to play as Ellie or Abby. Now, most people are probably going to choose Ellie to start with and then go and play Abby later. And you can still have those parts where Ellie and Abby meet up and maybe even have the same ending, just because maybe you want to make a third and you don't want to have to decide, well, do I want to go off the ending that happened with Ellie or the ending that happened with Abby? You could just do the same ending for both. But this way, you get to see everything that happens in Ellie's story all in one go. Everything that happens in Abby's story all in one go. And you get to see both their perspectives, but at your own pace, and you don't have to worry about getting pushed over by a fucking boulder to get all the way back to the top of the fucking plot structure mountain. That was just my thoughts. But other than those things, I really don't like the plot structure part. Well, other than those things, wonderful game. I'd give it a 9 out of 10, maybe an 8.5. I'd say 9 out of 10. It was a really good game. Alright, so number 2, I really have very little to say about this game, but BioShock, a game from 2007 made by 2K. BioShock is a game that I've known about for a long, long time. I've owned it on multiple consoles. I think I've owned it. The time I finally finished it was my 3rd time ever owning it. But I never really played it. I would play an hour, and I would either be scared because I was a little kid and stupid, or I would just get bored. I don't know why. I think I just said I didn't know what was going on. This year, though, for whatever reason, I'm thinking it's because of Nakey Jakey, because he has this video talking about BioShock. I decided to play the game, and it really sucked me in, and that's all I wanted to do for that entire week. It's just play BioShock. And it lasted so long that I even started playing BioShock 2. Then I got bored of BioShock 2, so that's why that's not on this list. I think I've heard BioShock 2 is better than BioShock 1, but I'm not for sure. So if anyone watches this that knows about that series, let me know if you've played them, which one you think is better. But, that's really all I have to add. It was just a really, really good game. So yeah. Then I'm going to go to number 1. This one probably will kind of surprise some people because it got a lot of hate really recently. But my number 1 is Cyberpunk 2077. And I also must preface that I didn't play this game on console. I played this game on PC because, on PC, Master Race, blah, blah, blah. It might just be because this game is really fresh in my mind. It's the freshest out of all these. I remember I enjoyed BioShock a lot, but I don't remember much of the story at this point. Because I played that in January, February, something like that. And then Last of Us 2 was a little bit fresher than that one, because that was, for one, just a lot more intense of a story. It just has some downfalls that kicked it to number 3. But Cyberpunk is really fresh. I only did one ending. I do plan on going back and doing some more story side missions, and then the rest of the endings, I want to try every ending. I just thought the story was really, really good. I like the ending. I chose the Panam ending, where you leave with Panam and all that. because I don't know why. It wasn't like a Naughty Dog level good story, but it was still pretty good. The side missions are really cool. I actually have an example of a side mission I really enjoyed. So there was this one when I was walking by this apartment. You see, I was walking out of my apartment and I went downstairs and I saw these two police officers on this one door trying to talk to this guy. I think his name was Frank. And they're trying to talk to this guy, and he's not coming out. He's like, I don't want to talk to you guys. And they walk away, and I go and talk to them and say, hey. They ask me like, hey, do you know this guy? Is he your friend? And I'm like, yeah, we've talked a couple times, you know. And so then you go. They're like, hey, can you talk to him? Maybe see if he's okay and all that. His best friend died, and we can't talk to him. He won't come out and talk to us. And so you go. He lets you in. You talk to him. And he tells you his name of his friend, which I think was like Andrew. I'm not for sure. It's been a while since I finished that story. That's his mission. You guys talk. It was all good. And then you go and you check out his best friend's grave. Turns out his best friend was a turtle. So far this doesn't seem that crazy, I know. But you then go back to the police officers to tell them about what Frank said, and you have the choice to either say, lie to the police officers and say, Martinez, you're being too mean to him. He doesn't like it. In which case, Martinez just more mean to him. And then you wait a couple hours, and Frank's dead. There's blood all over the flipping door. I don't know how so much blood got over there, especially on the front of the door. It doesn't really make sense. And there's also a bunch of yellow tape. And then Martinez is by the door crying. And you're just like, what the fuck? I was just waiting a couple hours to talk to Frank. How the fuck is he already dead? He was just alive like just a few minutes ago in my world and just a few hours ago in this world. How is he dead? It's the most effort I've seen put into a side mission really ever, other than maybe a GTA game. Rockstar put some effort into that. But that was pretty deep. And you could also, there's another one where you tell the truth and say, hey, his best friend's a fucking turtle. Might want to go a little bit easy on him, and then everything's okay. But that one's not as crazy, so who cares about that? But anyways, yeah, so those are my opinions. Those are my top 3 games of 2020 that I played. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Kiss me out of the bearded barley, lively beside the green.